The unthinkable act. Thunder splits the night sky. The storm howls through the trees, shaking the bridge. Below, the river churns, its dark waters hungry and wild. Rain lashes down, turning the wooden planks slick. A lone figure stands at the bridge's center, trembling. Arms clutch something small, something fragile. Breath comes in sharp gasps, lost in the roar of the storm. Fingers tighten, knuckles turn white. A baby whimpers, a sound barely heard, yet heavier than the storm itself. A heartbeat of hesitation, a silent prayer. Eyes dart left and right. The world is empty, yet full of unseen eyes. A whisper escapes into the wind, words swallowed before they can take shape. The baby stirs, a soft cry so small, so unaware. A step forward. Sandals slip on the rain-slick wood, toes curl for balance. The river beckons below, raging, waiting. Hidden among the trees, a shadow watches, silent, still. The storm covers the witness like a cloak, yet the eyes do not blink. Tears mix with the rain. A sharp inhale, arms tighten around the bundle. One last moment, one last breath together. A whisper, softer than the wind, forgive me. A sharp motion, arms fling forward, fingers release. The swaddled bundle vanishes into the storm's embrace. Silence, a heartbeat where the world holds still. Then the river swallows its offering. No splash rises over the wind's howl. No cry lingers in the night. A strangled gasp, knees buckle. A body collapses onto the wet wood. Shoulders shake, hands clutch the empty air. The storm does not pause for grief. A gasp, sharp and human, cuts through the night. A figure rushes forward, footsteps pounding against the bridge, eyes wide with horror, breath ragged. What have you done? No answer comes. Only the wind howling, only the river churning. Eyes meet, one pair filled with terror, the other demanding truth. Another breath, another moment. But no words can undo what has been done. The river keeps its secret. The storm rages on. Village of Kusafa thrives on honor. The laws are unshaken, older than the baobab trees, stronger than the warriors who guard them. A woman's purity is sacred. A single misstep brings ruin. No mercy, no second chances. A daughter of Kusafa knows this from birth. Nia walks with pride, her head high, her steps light. She is betrothed to Obade, the village's strongest warrior. Whispers follow her, but they are not of shame. They are of admiration, of envy. She will be a warrior's wife, a mother to sons who will carry his name. Her father stands tall. Her mother smiles. Their daughter's future is secure. But fate does not bow to plans. A stranger comes to Kusafa, a man whose hands do not wield weapons but strum melodies. His voice is smooth, his laughter warm. Jolly, the wandering musician. He sings songs of places far beyond the village, of rivers that do not drown but carry dreams, of love that does not bind but sets free. She should not listen. She should turn away. But his eyes hold promises she does not understand, and his voice weaves magic she cannot resist. The moon is high, the air is thick with longing. He reaches for her hand, she does not pull away. A moment, a mistake, a night that will never be forgotten. Days turn to weeks, shadows creep into her thoughts. Her body changes, slow but certain. The truth grips her in the dead of night, cold as the wind through the thatched walls. She is carrying a child. Terror coils in her chest. There is no escape. If the elders find out, exile will be the kindest punishment. The worst, death. She searches for Jolly, but his voice has faded into the wind. The man who promised songs has left her with silence. She is alone. Obade does not see the fear in her eyes. He speaks of their wedding, their future, their children. His joy is a blade against her heart. Her mother's hands grip her shoulders, strong and unyielding. A woman's honor is everything. If you bring shame, you will not be forgiven. The words press down, heavy as the sky before a storm. She cannot breathe. Mama Oda, the midwife, sits before her, stirring a bowl of crushed leaves. The mixture is dark, bitter. A remedy, a curse. No one must know. Take the herbs. End it before it begins. The bowl is placed in her hands. The scent rises, sharp and earthy. Her hands tremble. A choice. A life within her. A death that waits outside. She stands at the edge of a precipice, staring into the unknown. The burden of shame is heavy. The weight of life is heavier. What will she choose? The pressure mounts. The days pass slowly in Kusafa, each one heavier than the last. The whispers grow. Eyes that once admired now follow. Nia walks through the village with her head lowered, her gaze fixed on the ground, hiding behind loose garments that do little to conceal the secret growing within her. The women notice. They always notice. At the well, where the gossip flows as freely as the water, they stop her. Their words are sharp, their eyes too knowing. You've been quiet, Nia. A bride should glow, not shrink in the shadows. Nia forces a smile, but it trembles. Her heart pounds in her chest, and she hurries away, hoping her silence will be enough to shield her. But it's not. Obade, the warrior who once spoke with pride of their wedding, notices the way she flinches when he reaches for her hand. The distance between them grows, not from miles, but from something deeper, something unspeakable. His touch, once familiar and comforting, now feels like a heavy weight pressing on her chest. He pulls away, his eyes narrow. What is it, Naya? Why do you shrink from me? The question cuts through her like a blade, and she says nothing. She cannot. He watches her, confusion turning to suspicion. She cannot explain. How could she? He is blind to her secret, and if he knew, it would destroy him. It would destroy everything. The village women continue their quiet interrogation. Their smiles turn sharp as they pass her on the path, their words dripping with judgment. You're hiding something, Nia. You've changed. Each word stabs into her heart like a thorn. She cannot escape them. She cannot escape the eyes of her people. And then the village chief's voice booms through the air like a thunderclap. In 3 nights, we will hold the cleansing ritual. No impurity will stain our land. Nia's breath catches in her throat. The words strike her like lightning. They will know. They will see the truth. She is already marked, and the ritual will expose her in front of everyone. Her world tilts, the ground beneath her feet cracking with the weight of her choices. With no time left, she makes a desperate decision. In the dead of night, she sneaks away, moving as quietly as a shadow. The forest calls to her, its dark embrace offering a momentary escape from the village that suffocates her. Through the thick trees, she finds the hut of the old medicine woman. The air inside is thick with the scent of herbs and smoke, and the woman's eyes, full of ancient wisdom, pierce Nia's soul. I need something. I need something to end this. I cannot live with this shame. The old woman studies her for a long moment, her silence as heavy as a mountain. The gods have given you a child, the old woman finally speaks, her voice low and steady. If you take its life, they will take yours in return. The words hang in the air like a curse. Naya recoils, her hands trembling. Then what must I do? She whispers, the question a raw cry of desperation. The old woman does not answer right away. She looks at Nia, seeing not just the young woman before her, but the weight of the choices pressing down on her. Run. Or stay. But know this, child, the gods do not forget. The cold grip of hopelessness tightens around Nia's chest. There is no path forward that does not lead to destruction. The village will never forgive her. The child, if she keeps it, will be a mark of dishonor. If she lets it live, she will die. If she ends it, the gods will take her in return. She stumbles back from the woman, the weight of her choices sinking deeper. Her knees buckle and she sinks to the floor of the hut. Run, kill, confess. There is no escape. The pain of a silent birth shakes her awake in the night. Her body contorts with agony, but there is no scream. There cannot be. If the village hears, they will come. If they come, they will know. She holds her breath as the hours stretch on, the pain almost unbearable. Finally, the moment comes. The child is born in secret, hidden from the eyes that would judge. The cry of the newborn fills the room, breaking the silence like a crack of thunder. The baby is wrapped in cloth, warm and innocent, placed gently in her arms. You have until sunrise to decide, Mama Oda whispers, her voice steady but filled with an understanding too deep for words. Nia holds the child, her hands trembling. The weight of the decision presses down on her, and for a long moment, she does nothing but stare at the small, helpless life in her arms. The stars fade, and the village drums stir in the distance. Dawn is coming. Her mind races. She can hear the drums, louder, closer. The ritual is near. The village will soon gather. If they find out, they will cast her out. If they do not, she will be forced to live with the shame. She stands at the edge of a precipice, the weight of the world upon her shoulders. The child in her arms offers a hope she cannot yet understand, and yet, in this moment, that hope is as dangerous as it is precious. Will she obey the tradition and kill the child to preserve her place in Kusafa? Or will she defy the village, risking everything to keep the life she has brought into the world? The dawn is coming, and Nia must choose the river's judgment. The village of Kusafa sleeps, unaware of the storm about to break upon it. But Nia moves through the darkness, her heart heavy, clutching the child wrapped in cloth against her chest. The night feels alive with the whisper of wind through the trees, a voice that seems to beckon her forward. And yet, in the deepest parts of her soul, a cold fear tightens around her heart, urging her to turn back. She doesn't listen. Her feet move faster, guided by a force stronger than reason, the heavy weight of the child in her arms, a reminder of the impossible decision she must make. The village lies behind her now, quiet and still, its people unaware that their fate has already begun to shift. But in the shadows, a figure watches her. Tunde, the village hunter, keeps his distance, careful to make no sound. He grips his spear tightly, his breath shallow with the weight of his curiosity. What is Nia doing? Why is she out here in the dead of night with that child in her arms? His heart beats faster, and he follows her silently through the trees. What is she planning? The river, swollen from the recent storms, roars in the distance, its power calling to them both. Naya reaches the bridge, and there she pauses. The moonlight casts a cold glow over the water, its surface glistening with deadly beauty. Her legs shake. She can feel the pull of the river, urging her to release her burden. The choice she has carried for so long is here. She pulls back the cloth, and the tiny face of her child stares up at her. Eyes wide, innocent, trusting, tears mix with the raindrops falling softly from the heavens. Her heart shatters as she gazes down at the small face, so full of life. How can she do this? How can she betray this helpless child, a child who has done no wrong? A deep breath. She whispers a prayer, one last plea for forgiveness. And then, with trembling hands, she throws the baby into the river. The child disappears into the darkness below, swallowed by the roaring waters. For a moment, time seems to stop. The wind howls louder, the river's voice echoing in her ears. The weight of her decision presses down on her chest, and then a voice, sharp, filled with pain, shatters the night. What have you done, child? It is Mama Oda, standing at the edge of the bridge, her silhouette a dark, haunting shape against the moonlight. Naya freezes. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't have an answer. Before she can move, another figure steps out of the shadows. Obade, the warrior she was promised to, the man whose trust she has shattered. His eyes lock onto the river. His gaze hardens as the truth hits him. You betrayed me? He growls, the words dripping with disbelief and fury. His hand tightens around the hilt of his sword, the blade gleaming coldly in the moonlight. Naya doesn't respond. She stands frozen, her heart racing, knowing what he must think. How could she explain? How could she make him understand? The sound of the village alarm drum echoes through the night, sharp and thunderous. Someone has noticed her absence. The elders are waking. They will be coming. Obade's eyes narrow, his fury growing. You have dishonored me, Nia, he spits. You have dishonored us all. Nia feels her legs buckle beneath her, the weight of her guilt pressing her down. She can't breathe. She can't move. She can't face him. But there is no time to think. Tunde, still watching from the trees, reacts with speed. Without hesitation, he dives into the river, his body disappearing into the violent waters. He swims against the current, fighting the cold grip of the river as he searches for the child. His heart pounds in his chest, his thoughts a blur of hope and desperation. But when Tunde resurfaces, his arms empty, his breath coming in ragged gasps, the horror settles into the air. The baby is gone. Only the empty cloth remains, drifting like a ghost on the surface of the river. The river has claimed the child, or has it? Tunde's eyes widen in shock, confusion clouding his mind. The waters are fierce and unforgiving, and yet there is no sign of the baby. He tries again, his hands reaching for the water, but it is as though the river has swallowed the child whole. Nia stands at the edge of the bridge, her body shaking, her mind reeling. The child is gone into the dark, cruel river. But the question lingers in the air. Was it the river that took the child, or was it something else? The river is powerful, yes, but is it truly the end of the story? As the chaos unfolds, the village elders, alerted by the drums, begin to stir. Torches flicker in the distance, and Nia knows the village will soon be upon them. Her fate is sealed. The truth is out. The river has taken its judgment. But Nia's journey is far from over. And the village? It will never be the same again. The child is lost to the river, but the questions remain. What has truly happened? What will be the cost of Nia's actions? The river has spoken, but it has not answered all of the questions. Price so. The early dawn casts a pale light over the river, its surface still rippling from the search for the child that had been swallowed by its depths. Torches flicker in the hands of the villagers who gather on the riverbank, their eyes wide with fear and anticipation. Some murmur among themselves, their voices barely audible above the roar of the river. Others stand in silence, waiting for something, anything, to emerge from the water. The village chief arrives, his face dark with fury. His eyes scan the crowd before resting on Nia, who stands at the edge, her head bowed low, her hands trembling. He knows the village is on the brink of something terrible. Nia! The chief's voice booms over the murmurs. Explain yourself. What have you done? The villagers watch in silence, eyes flicking between Nia and the chief, their suspicion growing. Some of them know, but none have dared speak the truth. The chief demands answers, his anger palpable. Mama Oda, the village midwife, steps forward, her face calm but her voice carrying a weight only she can bear. The crowd parts as she moves, and she speaks without hesitation. This child was never meant to die, she declares, her voice steady and sure. The river will return what belongs to it. The words hang in the air, heavy with meaning. The villagers exchange nervous glances, unsure whether to believe her or dismiss her as mad. But then, something unexpected happens. A baby's cry pierces the stillness of the morning. It echoes across the river, impossibly loud over the roar of the water. The villagers gasp. Some of the women clutch their chests, eyes wide with shock. Others step back in fear, not knowing if this is a blessing or a curse. And then, as if summoned by the cry itself, a figure emerges from the shadows at the edge of the river. An old woman, wrapped in tattered cloth, holding the child in her arms. She steps forward, her movements slow but deliberate. Her eyes, ancient and knowing, seem to pierce through the crowd, straight into Nia's soul. No one recognizes her. No one saw her arrive, but there she stands, with the baby, Nia's baby, alive, wrapped in the woman's arms. The crowd parts as the woman walks toward Nia, her gaze never leaving the young woman's face. You threw away what the gods gave you, the old woman speaks, her voice raspy but firm. Now, they return it. But there is a price. The villagers stand in stunned silence. The air crackles with tension, and Nia feels every pair of eyes on her, waiting, judging. She reaches out instinctively for the child, her arms trembling. The woman hands the baby to Nia, and the moment their skin touches, Nia feels something she cannot describe. The weight of the decision, the depth of her guilt, and the quiet acceptance that whatever happens next is beyond her control. The child, alive in her arms, stares up at her, its innocent eyes wide and trusting, as if nothing had happened. But the moment of joy is short-lived. The elders, watching the unfolding scene, begin to murmur among themselves. Their voices are filled with judgment, the weight of tradition pressing down on Nia like a mountain. The chief speaks again, his voice low and stern. Your actions cannot go unpunished, Nia, he says. You have betrayed the village. You have betrayed your people. The elders debate quietly among themselves, their faces set in grim lines. After what feels like an eternity, they come to a decision. You will not be killed, the chief declares, his voice carrying authority. But you cannot stay here. Nia feels her heart drop. You must leave the village, the chief continues. You will be exiled. You will raise the child alone, outside our borders, where you cannot bring shame upon us any longer. The judgment is harsh, but Nia knows it is a mercy of sorts. It could have been worse. She looks toward Obade, but he does not look back. His face is a mask of humiliation, his eyes filled with a cold, unspoken pain. He turns away from her without a word, his pride shattered. Nia's chest tightens, and she takes a hesitant step forward. Her body aches, her heart heavy with sorrow, as the villagers look on, some with pity, others with disdain. Tunde, the village hunter, stands among them. His eyes meet hers, but he says nothing. There are no words between them, no promises of help, no gestures of comfort. Only a silent nod as she passes, a silent goodbye to the life she once knew. The weight of her exile presses down on her as she walks away, her child in her arms, the road ahead uncertain, filled with nothing but the unknown. The village of Kusafa fades into the distance as she steps into the wilderness, her only companion the child who once was lost, but now is found. The path ahead is not clear, and the journey is long. But for the first time in months, Nia feels a spark of hope. As she walks, she hears a voice behind her. It is Mama Oda, her words soft but full of meaning. "The river gave you a second chance," Mama Oda says. "Do not waste it." Nia does not look back. The village is gone. The past is gone. All that remains is the road ahead and the promise of a new life. She takes a deep breath and walks into the unknown path, carrying the child who is her second chance and the weight of the decision she made. Curse and the redemption. Years have passed, and the village of Kusafa has grown quieter, its memory fading with the seasons. But deep in the forest, whispers still carry on the wind. Travelers who wander into the wild speak of a woman who lives far from the world, hidden among the trees, a healer of sorts, though no one knows her true name. Some call her a healer, while others say she is cursed, forever marked by the sins of her past. Whispers of the forgotten woman. In the quiet corners of distant villages, people speak of the woman with reverence or fear. They say she possesses great knowledge of herbs and potions, able to heal ailments that others cannot. Yet there are those who avoid her, saying she is a shadow of the past, forever entwined with the river's dark magic. They do not dare approach, for the stories of her sins linger, carried on the tongues of the old. The firelight flickers as villagers gather to share their tales, but none ever truly know the truth of the woman who walks alone in the forest. The child touched by the gods. But of all the rumors, the most intriguing concerns her child. Those who encounter the woman and her child cannot agree on what they have seen. Some say the child is a spirit, an ethereal being blessed, or perhaps cursed by the river. Others believe it is simply a child, though with eyes that shine unnaturally bright and a presence that seems to draw the energy from the very earth around them. It is said that the child walks with spirits, and that the river's blessing or its curse will be carried by them for life. Is the child human or something more? No one knows. But one thing is certain: the child, like their mother, is bound to the river in a way that can never be undone. Legends in the wind. At night, as the fire crackles and the stars whisper overhead, elders recount the tale of Nia and her child. In hushed tones, they speak of how she was once a woman of Kusafa, betrothed to a warrior, bound by tradition, who made a terrible mistake, throwing her baby into the river in an act of desperation. Yet the river did not claim the child. Instead, it gave the child back, reborn, a symbol of both redemption and punishment. She was once a woman of Kusafa who threw her baby into the river, the elders say, their voices thick with gravity. And the river gave it back. And so the legend grows, weaving its way through the fabric of the village's history, remembered as both a cautionary tale and a story of second chances. It is a tale of sin and redemption, of love lost and found in the most unexpected of places. A life in the shadows. Now, hidden deep in the forest, Nia lives in the shadows of the life she once knew. She heals the sick, helps those who have nowhere else to turn, and offers her knowledge freely. Yet, for all the lives she touches, there is a coldness in her heart that no fire can warm. The child, her child, grows strong under the shelter of the forest, touched by the gods, by the river, by something both beautiful and haunting. But Nia carries the weight of her choices, the guilt of her past, the exile that will never end. Her exile is not just physical, it is a burden in her soul, a reminder that some actions cannot be undone. She has been given a second chance, a gift that has cost her everything. The weight of her choices. Some sins, the elders say, can never be erased. They echo through time, resonating with a force that no one can escape. Nia's exile will never end. It is the price she will pay for the life she tried to erase. But even in exile, the gods have granted her a second chance, though not without a cost. The river's judgment was harsh, but it gave her something precious in return, the chance to heal, to find redemption in the brokenness of others. Yet even as she offers her help to those in need, the weight of her past never truly leaves her. The river took her child, but it gave the child back, alive, reborn, a part of her. Some second chances are given, but they come at a price. In the end, Nia walks the narrow path between redemption and damnation, her heart torn between the life she has created and the life she once destroyed. The river, in all its power, has granted her a second chance, but at what cost? Only Nia knows the answer. Would you like any more adjustments or layers to this reflection?